You guys want to play?
All right. Recording? Yep.
Head Coach Stephanie White, quick statement, then some questions in the room. Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, excited about another opportunity to get on the floor, for our team to challenge themselves, to continue to get better against a tough opponent. I mean, obviously Vegas has set the standard, and so for us to be able to come in on their home floor, we want to put our best foot forward and hopefully come out of here with a win.
Steph, Chelsea's back. She's on probably a minutes restriction still, but how does she change them?
It's night and day. I mean, more so she understands just the matchups, the dynamics offensively, what they're trying to get. She's a natural coach on the floor, so she'll get them into actions and reads that maybe they haven't been getting into. And she's a shot maker. You know, I know she's working her way back, but that doesn't really mean anything. She's a shot maker. She finds ways to get to her spots and knock down big shots as well.
This is going to be a matchup of two of the best players in the league with Asia and AT. Just as a basketball fan, can you appreciate that, or are you too locked in to figuring out how do we stop Asia?
I think as a basketball fan, I get to appreciate the matchups night in and night out. But certainly when you think about two of the best players in the world, Asia has been consistent her whole career, but it seems like it's another level this year with what she's been doing. And, it's an incredible challenge for our group, an incredible challenge for AT. But an opportunity, I think, that she relishes. And yes, as a fan, it's exciting to be out there and to watch this chess match play out. Once the ball goes up, though, it's locked in. So I'll let the kids out there celebrate the matchup.
Hey, Steph. We spoke a couple weeks ago about Brianne January on the Zoom, and you called her your defensive coordinator. Are there any moments, we just got done chatting, are there any moments so far through this season where you've had an oh yeah moment where you may say something and she says something and it's like, oh yeah?
I think every day. I leaned heavily on Bree's knowledge and understanding both ends of the floor, but particularly defensively when I coached her. She's got a great defensive mind. She understands scheme and she understands nuances of coverages. I was never a really good defensive player, so the nuances of coverage I don't quite get in a way that she does. And so oftentimes, whether we're in practice and she mentions just whether it's an angle, whether it's just positioning, something like that I'm like, yeah, like make sure tell them and really, empowering her to pass that on. It doesn't have to go through me. It's coming from her, and she's really taken ownership of that role this year. I'm so proud of her. She's certainly her defensive game plans are the reason that we're in the position that we're in.
Is there something about her away from the court that you come to appreciate that you didn't necessarily realize you should have appreciated as a player?
I appreciated this when she was a player, but more so now that we've become really good friends. Is first of all, she's one of the best human beings around. And I think from my standpoint as coaching her, what kind of at that time kid she is. But now as a coworker and as a friend, just her presence, she's a calming presence. We call her Positive Patty because she's really positive all the time. She's just a good-natured, good-hearted human being. And when you're surrounded by people who are hungry to get better, who are hungry to challenge you to get better, who always have your back, but who know how to lift you up in that way as well. It's amazing. And, she's one of the greatest people I've ever been around. One of the greatest young coaches in the game, no question about it. And one of my all-time favorite, players to coach.
Steph, you mentioned that Asia has just taken it to another level this year. Can you expand on that? What does that mean? I mean, she was already pretty good.
Her efficiency, her ability, she's always been able to put a team on her shoulders, but I think in the absence of Chelsea, you've seen just how much she can in terms of her production. Her ability to continue to add to her game, and scoring at all three levels, the different ways that she's attacking, now finding mismatches, it's just, and not to mention what she does on the defensive end of the floor. I mean, that's another level as well, but it just seems like every year she continues to get better. I mean, ultimately, when you're a pro's pro, when you're always an MVP candidate, that's what you expect. And I think she's continued on that trajectory.
Stephanie, I'm Katie with the Aces. I'm doing a feature on Tiffany Hayes, and I just want you to talk about, she was a real heartbeat for you last year. Can you talk about what she brought to your team and how, even though you wish it was probably still on your team, but to see her out of retirement?
She's a pro's pro. I didn't really know Tip outside of just coaching against her for a number of years, but she comes in every day and does her job. I mean, she's locked in, she's focused. She doesn't get too high or low, and she pushes and challenges every day. She's great in the locker room. She's just the ultimate professional. And then what she does on the floor, I mean, her ability to get to the rim, to get to the free throw line. We always had her on the opponent's best offensive perimeter player, a great rebounding guard, plays incredibly hard. So she does a lot of things. Certainly, while I'm glad she's playing again, I'm not happy that she came out of retirement to join this team. I'm all jokes aside, I'm glad that she's continuing to play and take advantage of a great opportunity for her.
This one is not very serious, just FYI. The other day during your guys' game, whoever was calling it mentioned that when you put your hair in a ponytail at halftime, that means that it's serious business and they're getting talking to in the locker room, and we gotta play better. I'm curious if that is your thought when you put your hair in a ponytail.
I don't even notice when I put my hair in a ponytail, so I think it's just one of those kind of either, number one, it's driving me crazy. As you can see, when you have a lot of hair and curly hair, oftentimes that happens. Or it might just be sort of like an intense, yes, we need to lock in. We got to. I know that was a thing back when I was coaching in Indiana. We seem to have very slow starts, and when I'm stressed, I must do that. Did that at half times, and then we kind of came out a little bit better in the second half. So it really doesn't have anything to do with what I say, but it may have something to do with how I feel.
I get that a lot too. So.
Yeah, I bet, right?
Thank you, Steph.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, thanks, guys.